back to the channel, y'all. Yes, I know we're like 12 hours late dropping this. I fell asleep. I fell asleep during the fourth quarter, so I felt it wouldn't be the best video if I came in here with just 3/4 of knowledge of the game as to what happened. So I just, I woke up maybe around 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and so I just decided to go to bed, and I'd come and watch the rest of the game this morning and bring my video to y'all now. But if y'all know me, y'all know I don't even like having to do videos later than what they are supposed to come out. But hey, there's no basketball for a couple days, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my video out, man. To start off that game, it looked pretty good for the Boston Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks, man. Luka and Kyrie Irving coming out hitting both of their first shots respectively. You thought it was going to be one of those games for those two guys, especially the way that they had the Boston Celtics looking to where they had to call that timeout, starting the game off on that 13-6 run. Offensively, they both combined for 10 of those 13 points up to that point of the timeout. And then in that first quarter of their 28 points, the two of them combined for 21. So, like I said, it looked like it was going to be one of those games, man. And after that timeout, Joe Mazzulla, famously is known for not using his timeouts, but he actually used it in that instance, and it was really, really good because it cooled the Mavericks off for about 3 to 4 minutes, and the Boston Celtics were able to climb back into the game just a little bit because, as we know, they are the highest volume three-point shooting team in the league this year, and we've seen that throughout this whole entire postseason. From game one of the regular season up until game one of the NBA Finals, they hit at least one three-pointer in the first quarter of every single one of those games. And up until the last shot of that first quarter from Al Horford, they would have broken that streak, but he was able to knock in a three. But that was, 1 of 9, 1 of 10 for them for the quarter, so that's why they were in that hole. But they did shoot 10 of 10 from the free throw line, so that's a place where you could attest that to them. That's kind of a substitute, you feel me? Going 10 of 10 from the line really kept them in that game. But when you look at the other side for the Dallas Mavericks, they shot 4 of 9, which, that made the game be closer than it probably should have been. And when it was all said and done, when you lose a game by 7 points and you didn't really shoot well from the free throw line, or you only lost by 7, you didn't shoot well from the free throw line, and your second best guy on the team only scores 16 points and you still only lose by 7, that hurts, bro. That one really hurts because you didn't get beat, you kind of lost the game. You know what I mean? Like, if you get beat, it didn't look like you had a chance at all in the game. You feel me? They were in this game multiple times, although there was numerous double-digit leads that the Boston Celtics did acquire. The Dallas Mavericks were in this game, and this was a winnable game for them. A lot, like there was a big chunk of time where they weren't scoring the ball, the Boston Celtics weren't scoring the ball, and eventually the Celtics were able to capitalize and go on runs that separated them from the Dallas Mavericks. Like in that third quarter, when it was 65-63, the Boston Celtics go on a 12-3 run, and now the game is blown back wide open to 13. So now you gotta really, or it was like 15-3 really. You gotta really capitalize on those moments when this is it. You know what I mean? This is it. This is the NBA Finals. There's nothing after this. You lose, you lose. You gotta restart. You gotta start all the way over next year. So you cannot just leave opportunities on the board like that. I had looking weird. I don't know what's going on. It's probably because I just woke up. But yeah, that was that run that they went on, that 15-2 run. That was for 4 minutes. That was a 4-minute stretch in that third quarter. Like, they unintentionally ate up the clock, pause. And in the process of that, like I said, it took a 13-point lead. The Mavericks did have a solid last 3 minutes of that third quarter, on both ends of the floor, and they did get it down to a 6-point deficit. But then Peyton Pritchard he banks in that half-court three going into the fourth, and it just takes all the momentum that they had just built in that last 3 minutes of the quarter and gave it right back over to the Celtics. And if we want to be honest, there was still a chance for them to win this game in that fourth quarter. There were a couple of runs that they went on that the Celtics really like they had their back against the wall, but then they would just turn the ball over. Like, I remember, obviously, because I just watched it back, 4 minutes and 19 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Derek White gets a corner three with about 2 seconds left on the shot clock. He misses it. Daniel Gafford grabs the board, and he kicks it over to P.J. Washington. P.J. gets picked up by Jrue Holiday around the half-court line, and instead of, backing him, like dribbling with his back to him so he can advance the ball past half-court, he throws it to Luka, who's like 2 feet behind him, into the backcourt. And at this point, it's 17 seconds left on the clock. So Luka grabs the ball, has to hoist it over his head, try to get it back to P.J. Washington. Derek White comes and swoops it out the air, kicks it to Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday passes it to Al Horford, back to Jrue Holiday. Now it's a 3-point opportunity for Jrue Holiday, and he converts it, and it's now an 11-point game once more. That's the play to me that lost them the game. They did have that 9-0 run in the last 2 to 3 minutes of that fourth quarter, where it looked like they were coming back into the game, but then you get a Jaylen Brown basket. Who else scored? I want to say, Jrue Holiday got another basket. Derek White gets another basket. It's just they didn't have the poise down the stretch to close out the game. Even with Jason Tatum struggling the way that he did, this man had 13 points going into the fourth quarter. He got a couple of shots up, but he got a few shots up, but he only got one to fall, which was that corner three. Got a couple of free throws as well to round out his game to finish off with a near triple-double of 18 points, 9 rebounds, 12 assists, and a steal. But he shot atrocious from the field. Like, this is what I was talking about when obviously Kyrie Irving struggled as well, but you have their best player. We all know him as their best player. Jason Kidd thinks otherwise. You have their best player go 6 of 22 from the field. He only has 13 points going into the fourth quarter, and y'all still down. Y'all still managed to lose this game. I don't think they're going to have another opportunity to win. I'm going to just keep it a beam with you. Unless Kyrie Irving can turn it on, because Luka had his game. He had a triple-double. It wasn't the sexiest triple-double, but he still ended up with a Luka Doncic type of game. It's hard for me to believe that they will have another opportunity to win this series, especially with Jason Kidd throwing that quote out there about Jaylen Brown being the best player on the team. You could see that kind of got to Jason Tatum, who, although he was affecting the game in other ways, looking to move the ball on, get good open looks, as well as hitting the boards and playing superior defense. Well, not really superior, but, solid defense for the most part on the perimeter and at times on the bigs as well. When he shoots that bad because he's trying to prove that he is that guy as well. Like, he shot 22 shots and only had 18 points. Imagine if he shot even 50%. He could have ended up with about 27, 30 points. You know what I mean? He shot 1 of 7 from deep. He almost lost him this game because, in my opinion, he let that quote go to his head, and now you got to have a Jrue Holiday 26-point performance. Derek White had to lead them, or be third in scoring, tied with Tatum at 18. Jaylen Brown scores 21. Off the bench, you get 12 from Porzingis. But like I said, he was affecting the game in other ways, so it's not like it wasn't really noticeable that he went 6 of 22. Like, you knew he was shooting bad, but it wasn't that noticeable up until like the last back end of the game. Like, he was kind of forcing a lot of looks and just trying to be there for his team, remain a threat, remain somebody that the defense has to respect, because although the shot's not falling, I'm going to still take my shot because you got to get out here and contest it. And that's where he gets those drive and kick out opportunities to Jrue Holiday and Derek White and Al Horford for 3-point opportunities. We mentioned Derek White a little bit earlier. He played a great all-around game, especially in that first half. A solid scorer, stellar on the defensive end. He really made Kyrie Irving work for everything. 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and a block, all in the first half. The epitome of a true two-way player, bro. He can go out there and get you. He can go out there and be second and third in scoring for the game, while also being the best defensive player for you in the game. Like, we knew how good Derek White was in a San Antonio Spurs uniform, but it's elevated so much being a part of the Celtics, bro, because for the majority of, well, I won't say majority because they were a competitive team for a lot of that 2010 decade, but that back end of Derek White for the San Antonio Spurs, they weren't really making the playoffs. They weren't really looking good. They were, having losing seasons. You put him in a win now, like championship caliber team, and he is shining, bro. He is shining, bro. On the defensive end, he's unbelievable, bro. Like, he got, and really it hit the rim. That PJ Washington fast break look. He tried to dunk it over Jaylen Brown and then Derek White trailing. It really hit the rim, but I think they counted that as a block. He got the call. He got like a call similar to the LeBron James block. It's like, oh, blocked by White type of thing. I was like, oh shit, Derek White out here. He ended the game, bro, with 3 steals and 2 blocks, bro. He was third in scoring, like I said, with 18 points. He shot a heavy dosage of 3-point looks. He was 4 of 10. And he grabbed 5 rebounds, dished out a couple assists as well. Just a really, really solid game for Derek White. And then the man of the night, Jrue Holiday, led the Celtics in scoring, not only for the game, but in the first half as well. Shot 6 of 8 from the field, scored 14 points. He was playing the dunker spot very, very effectively in the short roll perfectly. The team was 33-1 coming into this game when he scores 14 or more. They are now 34-1 because he scored 26 and they obviously won the game. The two-man game with Tatum was putting points on the board all game, making timely cuts and just making himself available at the right time, being cognizant of the situation and of the moment. Time and time again, going into that fourth quarter, he had 23 points on 10 of 12 from the field. And he ended the game, like I said, with 26 points, which was the second most for the game, trailing just Luka Doncic. He did lead his team in rebounds. The point guard led his team in rebounds with 11. And he got a few dimes as well, and of course got a steal and a block, all while shooting 79% from the field. Just a hell of a game, bro. And then Jaylen Brown, he had an okay first half offensively, but he was great on defense. Finished the first half with 8 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Only 5 shot attempts, but he did pick up the scoring in the second half, as well as the intensity on the defensive end. 13 points, a couple boards, a few dimes, and 2 steals in those last 2 quarters, making some really great plays on both ends of the ball. And if he ends up with about a 28-30 piece next game and then follows that up with about 25-27 in the game 4 and game 5, whatever, if they do sweep, it's looking like a sweep. I'm not gonna lie, this was a much better game for Dallas, but that is you got to give us a little bit of credit to Dallas for the defense on Jason Tatum, making it tough on him for shooting, having this bad night. But then a lot of that can be attested to just him having an off night. You know what I mean? And you can't really depend on that happening time and time again, especially with a guy like Jason Tatum. So, I don't know. It could end up in a sweep, man. If that's the case, Jaylen Brown could really be making a case for Finals MVP. And to me, it looks like Jason Tatum is fine with that. He doesn't really look like he's caring to be the best player on the team in this series. Other than, what I was saying about him letting that quote go to his head, trying to get all those shots up and really show that he really is him. But aside from that, it doesn't really like he cares. He's doing everything else that he's supposed to be doing. Obviously, when they go into the sound of the game and see who's talking and doing what, a lot of the vocal aspect of leadership is coming from Jaylen Brown. But Jason Tatum is the best player on this team. He is the most skilled player on this team, but it is a group effort, and he's showing that they're going to win by committee. It doesn't need to just be him dominating and having these performances. He could end up Finals MVP, averaging a double-double, a near triple-double, because he is going to grab you 8 to 9 rebounds. So who knows? But to me, it does look like Boston has a recipe to win this series. You know, limiting Kyrie Irving with this a perfect 1-2 punch defensively. A revolving matchup of Derek White and Jrue Holiday, being able to maintain Kyrie Irving. I've never seen Kyrie bottled up this way, bro. Never in my life have I seen Kyrie Irving bottled up the way he was last night. Losing his handle and turning the ball over, traveling after getting clamped down by Jaylen Brown and getting swatted by Derek White, all in the first quarter. That was all in the first quarter, and it continued throughout the rest of the game. Losing handle, turning the ball over, not able to get clean looks because the defense is just all over him, bro. He did, however, end up with 8 points on 4 or 5 shooting from the field in that first quarter, so, you know, a little bit give or take there. But the second and third quarter, he got just one basket. He went into the fourth with 10 points, which means he scored just 6 points in the fourth quarter in 42 minutes. 7 of 18 from the field. He only got 2 free throw attempts, so not a normal Kyrie game by any means, man. Especially when you talk about in the NBA Finals, how we know he's accustomed to performing. 6 assists as well and a couple boards, but that's just not a Kyrie Irving game, man. And then his counterpart, Luka Doncic, he had a great game. He had a really great game, especially in that first quarter. He had 13 points, which is his average coming out of a Game 1 loss in this postseason. He's averaging 13 points on 60% shooting in that first quarter. So he got the cooking right out the gate, and he continued that going into the second quarter. Hit 3 straight shots back to back to back within the first 2 minutes. So you could tell that he was really gunning and coming for blood. And he finished the first half with 23 points. 10 of those came in the second quarter on 4 of 6 from the field. And he had 3 assists, which in Game 1, he didn't get 1 assist until the fourth quarter. So a much better game for him. A couple of times, though, throughout this game on drives, he got clamped down. And on the first one, he traveled. And on the second one, to avoid the travel, he throws the ball over his head, like try to go cross court, I think, to like Josh Green or Dante Exum, and it ends up being a turnover. So just some really great defense by the Boston Celtics and some questionable plays by Luka Doncic, who is supposed to be this experienced player in these big time moments. Obviously, we know he's done overseas, but this is different. This is an NBA Finals. Even he said it. This is a bigger stage. So I don't know. Maybe the pressure was getting to him a little bit. At least, handling the ball, because he was able to go out there, like I said, get a triple-double, lead the game in scoring. But he took a very questionable 3 in that fourth quarter. I want to say it was about 5.5 minutes to go, about 28 feet behind the line. Away from the rim, a few feet behind the line, obviously. He had Jrue Holiday on him, and then Kristaps was coming over to help close out. They're down 10 at this point with about 5.5 minutes. That's just not a shot you really want. But I guess that's, him trying to get just something to go because he wasn't getting the calls that he was wanting to get in that second half. And, the mid-range shot wasn't falling at all. I remember a couple possessions before that 3-point attempt, he had a look over Derek White, I think, where he, faded out the mid and it hit right off the front of the rim. So I don't know. He was just trying to get something to go, but that second half didn't look good for him. Like I said, he finished with 23 in the first half. He ended the game with just 32 points. So it wasn't a really great second half for him scoring the ball. And after that 3-point opportunity, the Boston Celtics were able to go down and convert a basket themselves, and that was a 12-point game with 5.5 to play. So, like I said, he really couldn't score that ball in the fourth quarter, and that obviously hurt them. But he had a few really key plays to keep them in the game. But when it was all said and done, like I said, he ended up with that 32-11-11 triple-double. 4 steals to add to that on 12 of 21 from the field. He shot 4 of 9 from deep. So Luka had a Luka game. It was pretty solid. PJ Washington had an okay game, 17.7 boards and assists and a block, but he was 1 of 5 from deep. That's the shot that they depend on him to hit the most. And out of everyone on the team, he had the second best game, and that's saying a lot because I said he only had an okay game. So the Dallas Mavericks really have to figure something out, because when you talk about bench production, they didn't get any of that in this game. Got outscored 17-9 by the Boston Celtics on the bench. And then when you the player that's been most effective for them off the bench is Derek Lively. He hasn't looked good so far in the finals, man. A lot of rookie mistakes offensively in that first half. Had a moving screen. He traveled with the ball, but it wasn't called for him, fortunate enough. And then a missed catch in transition over a smaller defender, which led to a turnover. So, and then he had another turnover as well. So that's all in the first half. 2 points, 7 rebounds in 19 minutes for the game. It's just, this guy, it takes experience. It's a lot of these guys' first time here, so they just got to figure it out, man. But I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate y'all tuning in. We definitely going to get them the next however many more games there are. Like I said, this could be a sweep. We're definitely going to get them right after the game, though. I don't know what it was last night. I was just so tired, bro. So if you tune into this one, I appreciate you. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Y'all know we enjoy ball around here, you feel me? I appreciate y'all, though. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.